All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the I Can Do This All Day podcast. I am Dan, the part-time Avenger, and with me, as always, is Mark, the resident Jedi.
Hello there. Today we're here to give you our thoughts. Perhaps you could say disclose them about a new Spielberg movie that is many years past E.T., where he does not make a cameo. Martha preview there. That is Disclosure Day.
Disclosure Day, starring Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor. Colin Firth, didn't even realize he was in the movie, but yeah. Coleman Domingo is also in this movie. So, Steven Spielberg. I was not interested in watching this movie. You had said, like, oh, Disclosure Day comes out this year. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I just didn't have any desire to watch it. However, since the original kind of mapping out this year, my wife and I have gotten very interested in watching things about aliens. And, you know, I'm not Fox Mulder out there, right? But at the same time, there is some interesting things that are going out there, whether they're true, whether they're not. Some people will say, of course it's true. Some people say it's like, this is something to distract us from what's going on today. I don't know, but it's interesting. So my origin with Steven Spielberg is I watched E.T. It was a great movie. I didn't get it at the time when I first watched it, but I was sad when E.T. died. But at the same time, it's everything else from Steven Spielberg or things that he had participated in, from Indiana Jones to Star Wars, things like that. It was just interesting to me. So that's my origin with Steven Spielberg and a little bit of Aliens, which I'll get into a little while. But Mark, what is your origin with Steven Spielberg?
Was your first Spielberg movie E.T.?
Which one was it that he was involved with for Star Wars? Was it Jedi?
He just kind of helped. He didn't direct any of them.
Right. No. Yeah.
Friend. I think it was Empire. I don't know.
Okay,
Kirshner
sure. But
directed the third one.
But Spielberg, I definitely watched E.T. and I was pretty young when I watched E.T. because I didn't get everything, right? And then obviously watching E.T. now, it's like, oh wow, was that movie really PG? It seems like that wasn't a movie that should have been PG, but oh well. But yeah, that was my first. What about your stuff with Spielberg?
My mom loved E.T. when I was growing up, so like I remember watching that, and then like Indiana Jones right after, right? Like Raiders and all that. But so many good movies from Spielberg. And that's why when we were talking the initial time that you alluded to, right, I was just like, well, Spielberg movie, should we review that? I knew it was something about aliens, and you know, I love me a good sci-fi, but I did not watch any previews for this movie. This was solely at your wife's whim.
What do you think about Aliens? Let's cut to the chase now before
we're not even spitting on it. We're going right to business. Yeah. It sounds like. Honestly, this movie is I've been talking about my wife when I told her what the movie was about, was like, oh, that thing you talk about. And I honestly believe that this like is going to be the thing that shakes the world out of this like ridiculous selfish funk that exists. Like, I think it's the only way that like we could transition to like a positive world, because people just need to understand, like, it's not all about you. You're not the main character. I've been like, maybe it's because I, experienced, we were both, in our young adulthood young or early adulthood, that one, during 9/11, when like the whole country actually came together on one thing. And I feel like if you let the whole world come together on one thing, it's, that'll hopefully change the focus of this. And it's funny because I finally got my wife to watch Operation Hail Mary the night before, and it's like two alien movies, both of which we weren't the aggressor, or actually we were, where it wasn't both of which had a positive relationship from somebody, and it wasn't just all Earth out to kill. Because every other movie where we discover that there's extraterrestrials other than Star Trek, we're trying to kill them immediately. We're going to live on. We're going to survive, unless it's Mars attacks and then they kill us.
I mean, rightfully so, America, right? Like, we gotta take over the universe. If the first ones that are going to do it, it's going to be us. And we're going to be holding the Bud Light, a Viking hat, and a American flag while we're at it.
Bud Light in that beer dispensing plastic helmet while we ride our John Deere tractors. Lawn
So
tractors.
ridiculous. So ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, this was an interesting pick for us. And I was into it just because of the fact that I'm interested in aliens. I'm not necessarily a believer, but I'm also not necessarily just a naysayer either. I'm leaning more towards believing than anything else. But we'll get into more about the alien talk. I want to hear about what your expectations were for the movie.
I went into this movie without watching any previews, and I honestly wasn't sure if Spielberg directed it or just produced it because he's started to just lean into the stuff that Amblin does. So I went in with the this better be good because Spielberg, right? And that was it. I didn't know who was in it, and I liked that there was a few recognizable people, but there was also some people that aren't just in everything, right? Like Josh O'Connor, I remember from the newest Knives Out movie, but I haven't seen him in a lot of things. And this character versus that character had some difference, right? Colin Firth as a villain, I don't remember seeing that often, but I love me some Colin Firth. And like Emily Blunt can do no wrong, so I don't care. But the list goes on and on as far as, Coleman Domingo is awesome in many things. I really thought the cast was solid as I was watching the movie and just seeing semi-familiar faces, but ones that I don't like only picture as one character. What about you? How much did you know going in? Did you watch this to placate the wife? Were you just excited that ex-Captain America was in it because you love Wyatt Russell?
He was my not favorite part of it, but he was my favorite part of the movie, right? Like too small of a part to be officially titled the favorite, but at the same time, this guy has really great comedic chops. His delivery, great. Facial expressions, great. Yeah, Wyatt Russell, he can do no wrong. I enjoy him in pretty much anything.
I'm going to
But
tell
my
you why you loved
expectations.
Wyatt Russell in this movie. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to interrupt you so I can tell you because all the fans out there know why. It's because he was wearing the Wolverine jacket from the first X-Men movie.
I did
Went
notice
to the
that in
props
that movie.
department and said, I used to be Captain America. Now I want to be Wolverine.
I mean, not necessarily Captain America. Everyone in this is the costume department saying it to like, well, I mean, well, Chris Evans, even Anthony Mackie were Captain America. You were kind of just not so much, but
you were kind of a bit.
But it's cool that you picked that up because I totally thought that. It's like that jacket looks a lot like Wolverine's, and
if they get in a Mazda RX-6, this movie's about to get fucking awesome. Where's James Marsden?
It was pretty sweet, but the expectations for this movie is like I thought it was going to be interesting, and Spielberg hasn't really done anything that I've seen that has been a major miss. I think the major miss from a critical point of view and Rotten Tomatoes point of view is Hook. We just reviewed that a little while ago, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it then. I enjoy it now.
How could you not love Hook? Is the question that people should be asked. Like, come on.
It is the one movie that Spielberg said that he would redo. He said that there was no third act or I'm sorry, was it third act or not enough? Not enough of a second act. Yeah. So good beginning, good end, not much of a second act. So that's interesting and good for him to be able to critique his work and admit that type of stuff because it's tough, especially when you're a big Hollywood director and Hollywood name. But it is what it is. For me, expectations were just like, okay, I'm going to watch this. I think it's going to be entertaining. I don't know what the whole premise is for everything throughout the plot, but I'll be along for the ride. I did predict how it was going to end, and I was pretty darn close to it. But that's it. Let's dive into the movie, but before we do, I think the audience needs to hear something, and it is your version of the Disclosure Day plot.
Oh, man. Open a window. Alien comes in, people start clicking, hilarity ensues.
Simple yet complicated at the same time.
It's a complicated movie. It's a complicated movie.
What did you think from a alien perspective when that was all going to be coming into the movie? Like, did you think you were going to be seeing aliens? Did you think they were going to be some type of fantastical creature? something that we've already seen before?
So context clues are Spielberg shows you the aliens, whether it's Close Encounters, whether it's E.T., whether it's Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Crystal Skull. He's going to show you the aliens, and they're going to have alienish features, right? I don't think I expected to see as many shots of the aliens, throughout, and the detail. Like, it was very, it's very believable. Like, all of the different ways that we see the aliens in this movie. They didn't do a Signs where they just like, that's M. Night Shyamalan, ding dong, where they like hid the aliens to the end, and they did all they did the suspense building. They showed you, once they really wanted to get the effect down, they weren't shy about the aliens. They
What
brought
did you
in
think about that,
big
though?
ones, small ones, some bigger in your head.
You typically like, from a alien movie, if I remember correctly, or a monster, you like the unveiling a little bit later on. This one was pretty early. Pretty
So
early.
I'm gonna say that the aliens in this aren't the monster,
I mean,
right?
yeah, in this movie, it's not. Yeah, we're definitely depicted as the
Yeah,
monsters in this. But that's not the same case for ET.
yeah. hmm But you saw E.T. like right away.
Yeah.
It's even like Jaws, where Spielberg shows you a little bit of it, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then it's in your fucking boat. I think that of anybody, of any filmmaker that really got us to the point of the dunna dunna kind of look at a larger than life creature, didn't Spielberg do it first or best and set
Many
the
could
tone?
argue that,
Right? Like all of these
perhaps.
that what movie was it? Cloverfield, where they didn't show you, they barely showed you the alien at all. Didn't they say they were heavily influenced by Jaws? The way that they used music to build suspense, and less is more, and the thought of it, the imagination can go crazy, just like The Thing, until they pulled out the silly string. Like, it was a lot scarier until it wasn't. But yeah, I love that a Russell was in a suspense alien type movie. Again, is this Wyatt Russell's The Thing because of the animals?
Maybe, maybe. The cast, though, really, we talked a little bit about them a little earlier, but Colin Firth as the antagonist, he's such a damn good actor. He really is. And, some people will just say, like, oh, he reminds me, like, I'll always look at him and think of what character is he in Love Actually, whatever it is, right?
He's the
And
Yeah, I love that you brought up Love Actually, because you know that I have to watch that movie every Christmas because it's my wife's favorite Christmas movie. But yeah, he's I
hold on,
heard that Eric.
let me cue the Price is Right. Bum, bum, ba-da.
It's not a terrible movie.
But
It could be way worse. Hot Frosty.
Hot Frosty is fantastic. I'm gonna watch Hot Frosty again this Christmas. It's
I
so
bet.
good, so good.
Good luck, sir. Good luck. Godspeed.
But yeah, the cast overall really good. I think they gel well together. I think what Spielberg does very well with any of his movies is just weaving them together. Almost, I might even say, like, better than Tarantino does when he weaves characters in together. And it's just like, okay, you have this news anchor, or sorry, weather girl that's just kind of, she's trying to make her mark in the industry, and she just can't get past Weather Girl, and Josh O'Connor from Knives Out fame. Two very, like, stark contrast type of people, but it goes together. And I think the genius about that, what Spielberg did is like, okay, so Emily Blunt can understand the people side of it, and Josh O'Connor, Daniel Kellner, the character, he can understand all of, like, the math and the science and everything. That is a very interesting way to kind of balance things out, but also it's very indicative of those two types of people. Emily Blunt, obviously a lot more physically attractive, some would say, most would say, and eye appealing. So that's kind of where the easy connection is. And then Josh O'Connor, not an ugly man, but at the same time, he's no resident Jedi or part-time Avenger. So that's at least our wives think so, maybe. But I like how even the duality is reflecting in the casting choice. What did you
Yeah,
think about that?
I think that what I like about it is Spielberg can get anybody Spielberg wants, right? Like, I think at this point he can cast it just like Christopher Nolan. Like if he calls you, you show up. And none of the people in this movie are like need to be the main on it, right? Like Emily Blunt's made a career of being the best second person in the movie, like the best supporting actress there is. I think she's getting an Oscar nod for this, candidly, as a lead. But like she even made the Rocks movie pretty good with her acting, right?
Yeah, she's great. She's great. The funny thing he said about like Nolan, everyone just wants to work with Nolan. There is an actor that actually said that he wanted to read Nolan's script for The Odyssey. And that was not your Batman, not my Batman, but Robert Pattinson, the Batman. So he said like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to read the script." And Nolan was like, "What? You're going to read it?" A lot of people just take the role without even reading. But okay, I guess you're going to do that. So it's
And
funny
then
how
he
that all
called
works
Matt
out.
Damon, and Matt Damon was like, "I'm going."
Of course, of course. But kind of connecting all the greats with names, there is a great name in this movie that was responsible for the music, and that's John Williams. And that is, if AI is correct, I don't use Google anymore. Sorry, Google, pay me. But apparently, John Williams' 30th collaboration with Spielberg, 30th. That's nuts. That must be like involving obviously movies that he's also producing because
No,
there's no way. He didn't come out with 30 movies, did he?
Spielberg's direct. I think here, I had it. I just had it. Spielberg has directed 60
Not
films.
30 movies? 60?
60,
Holy shit.
60 films.
Where have I been? Oh, hold 60. And how many years?
Well,
How
no,
old is he? Because
58.
I feel like
58. There's 2 upcoming, but his first film, he's got 58 director credits. His first film came out in 1959. It was just a
what?
short. He started making shorts
Jesus.
in the 50s and through the 60s. His first like big movie was Jaws. Again, John Williams. And then Close Encounters, John Williams. He just movie after movie
Hmm.
with John Williams.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I mean, John
All
Williams,
4 Indiana Jones movies.
arguably the best composer out there.
Not
John
arguably.
Williams.
Not
Not?
movie.
Okay.
Not arguably. Is GOAT.
Okay. Fair
Sorry,
enough.
Hans Zimmer. I like you too, but let's be honest.
It's it was really good. Excuse me. Really good type of partnership that they have and symbiotic relationship, right? He cranks out good movies. Williams sets the tone. I mean, really, he does. And it's just a fantastic score that's in this movie. And it's not even I wouldn't even say it's as good as the other movies. There's no, like, in my opinion, there's no recognizable theme where you're thinking, like, oh my gosh, the theme from Disclosure Day. Like, no, you're not getting that. But yet, each scene that the music is playing, it puts you in Kansas City, wherever they're at, right? It's putting you exactly where they are. And that's just my opinion on it. Any thoughts on the music at all?
Yeah, you bring up a very good point. Like normally for the really big John Williams movie, there's a movement that just sticks. Even movies like Schindler's List have a theme. Not even leaving alone like Harry Potter and Jurassic Park and the indie movies that have the overture, including all the Star Wars movies where every character has their own little soliloquy of song. But I did not catch the scoring was great, but I did not catch a theme. That's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be
But
something for the second view.
perhaps that's a negative. I don't know. Maybe we'll see how that
It could have been
measures
me
up.
just not paying enough attention, but usually it grabs you. But I will make excuses for the goat.
What did you think of the whole whistleblower thing for, gosh, Daniel Keller, the character? Like, I thought that was an interesting way to have this movie, and I wasn't expecting anything like that. Like, I thought it was just going to be like a slightly different take. I didn't know what, but I didn't think that.
Well, they kind of they took a Snowden approach to it. The person, not the movie, about the person, right? But then there was layers to it. And that I think was the thing that kept me in this movie is at regular intervals, they peeled back another onion layer that really showed the interconnectedness of these characters and these happenings that really like created layering of aha moments, which is, what you'd expect from a movie called Disclosure Day. They disclosed things at regular intervals that gave depth to the characters in a big way.
Did you think it was going to be that particular thing for the entire movie? Like, they're just some government organization or some obviously in like a private organization in this matter, like they're always going after the people or the aliens or the people with the aliens, stuff like that.
I mean, this is just a grumpy Men in Black, right?
Mm, it's
Instead
an
of
interesting
welcoming
take.
the aliens and regulating them, they're just fucking putting them in the closet and using their tools in a way that they almost die. But I don't think I went into it. I don't think I went in with an expectation. I just wanted to see the perspective because again, it's not a new trope. There's aliens. It's really evaluating or digging into the emotional side of the question of are we alone? Because it shakes up the foundation for so many people. I thought the twist of her being like a former convent member. I don't remember her rank. She wasn't like a nun. She didn't pass the nun test, but it was very interesting. And I really also enjoyed, and I could be going on a tangent here, the perspective of the what's the rank? I don't know the nun rank, but of the head nun, Mother Superior
Mother
or
Superior?
whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just saying Mother Superior as a joke. I don't even know if that's really the
Yeah,
true
that
rank or
also
whatever.
was a tongue in cheek. But the way that the Mother Superior looked at it and just interpreted the Bible verse differently, I just kept enjoying the way it was presented and the way that they brought multiple perspectives to it, because that's a hard plane to land. How do you unpack the religious implications of extraterrestrials when there's already this whole like, nope, the earth's 2,000 years old, not the earth is 8 million years old.
I love the fact that you bring that up because I thought they did that expertly. I am not a big fan of I think anyone who's listened to the podcast, I'm not a big fan of religion. I don't like to bash it, but there are some things that are a little bit ridiculous. Sometimes a lot ridiculous
You
about it
get Martha, is
at
what you're saying.
at face value, at face value,
Mhm.
right? With no physical proof of certain things happening, it's tough to swallow if you are not of the faith or do not want to believe. But when Spielberg gave I don't know if it was like a trailer interview or something like that, or just a regular interview, and he was talking about how, like aliens and stuff like that, like what about all that stuff, the stuff that you've heard, and like what if that were all true? And it was so damn clever that he said that because that is also applicable to religion, right? Like, what if it's all true? All that stuff that we believe in, like that is true. Aliens, true. God, true. Jesus, true. Whatever it is, right? That's such an interesting take on things, and I'm more inclined to believe that everything is real as opposed to everything's kind of fake except for this. Like I'm more of like, if this exists, like why doesn't Zeus? Maybe Zeus is real. I don't know. Who knows? But it's so interesting with that.
It's interesting because just the way that character interpreted it. Coolest nun in a movie since Carrie Fisher and Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, by the way. The way
I
that
wonder if she lives by the book.
she obviously does. But it's the way that she interprets it and leaves room for both answers to be yes or something we don't get. We get it normally in movies that involve aliens. We get diametrically opposed them or us. That's what we get. We get Independence Day. We are going to live on. We're going to survive. And that brings the earth together to kill, not to accept. And they took it one step further when Coleman Domingo gave his soliloquy on their advanced species being their being empathy first and being more emotionally intelligent, which is what you would need in the face of a situation where you found out that up is down is up, right? As far as there being extraterrestrial life and we're not alone and we're not the most important thing in the cosmos. So it's a very good, in my opinion, approach of giving not panic but calm, not fright but understanding. I really liked that approach.
If Spielberg could make a movie about religion, I think I might consider watching it in theaters. Like that's I mean, minus like
Schindler's
something
List.
Star Wars related. I mean, honestly, I didn't see the movie. So my wife has said, like, we should watch this movie. And I was like, yeah, we should. I want to watch the movie. I just don't know if I want to commit the amount of time at this particular stage in my life after a long day of work and stuff like that. So maybe one of these days, maybe
Yeah,
more.
I think that Spielberg has given us very, very interesting views on faith and on, technology and evolution of the human kind, right? Like everything from like AI and Minority Report to all of the extraterrestrial and Close Encounters movies. He's really given like a very I like the way that Spielberg makes you think about the human condition and the human response.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
many
Agreed.
too many movies just jump to the response and don't like you I never leave a Spielberg movie feeling like that character just was it was meh, right? You never feel like he leaves out the depth,
Yeah. I would say so. I would agree with
except
that.
for
I would agree.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is probably why he didn't do the new Indiana Jones movie when it came out. The one about the
Let's
dial
see.
of destiny.
Every time I think about or I hear about the Crystal Skull, I just remember that South Park episode. It's just so funny. Anyone who's ever heard of it, you know what I'm talking about. It's the funniest thing out there. But the other thing that I was interested in was just the connection of everyone. Like, who the heck is Coleman Domingo's character, and why is he directing Daniel to go where he's going, and how does he know who Fairchild is? Like that's just like such a odd pairing. I was like trying to put it together, like, ooh, what is this? So there's like a little bit of suspense as well. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? Is he an alien or is he just like this mastermind? Like, I didn't know, but I was in. So like throughout the viewing, kind of rewinding a little bit, we both saw it in theaters, obviously. What was your theater like? And just give me some details.
I went on a Wednesday night and I had to take it's summertime, so it's activities for the kid. So I went to the last showing of the day, which happened to be a 9:30 IMAX. So it was me in the IMAX theater. And I think there were other people, but not a path did cross there, right? It may have been like 4 people, but it was
Okay.
loud and the screen was big, which like is good. It's a little private.
That's cool.
I just wish it had the reclining seats. It's the only bad part about the
Mm,
IMAX theaters at my AMC. Shout out AMC. It's that they didn't do the seat replacements. They for some reason think they need all of the seats in the IMAX when you could just put the other seats in here with the size of the IMAX and it's fine. I don't think I've ever been to the IMAX at well, maybe like the first new release of Star Wars. I think I saw an IMAX of Mando, and it still wasn't all the way full. I don't know. But it
okay.
was a 9:30, middle of the night when we got out show and pretty empty. What about you? Did you have a full boat? I mean, you brought half enough people to fill a theater with the fam.
We had a private viewing. It was literally just us in the theater. Now we did go at 8 a.m. on a Sunday,
There's
so
8
that's the
a.m.
difference.
What the fuck
Crazy,
are you
right?
doing up at 8 a.m.?
8 a.m. movie. Like we like to do stuff throughout the day, so it's like okay, we could go to like the 10, and then by the time it's over, it's like lunchtime, or we could go at 8 a.m. and by the time we're out, get a little bit of a light morning snack. Have a good lunch, have the rest of the day open for us. And so that's
Did you
exactly
get
what we did.
coffee at your AMC? Like,
Not an AMC because we
oh,
actually have the
wow.
nice seats. Thank you, Cinemark. But yeah, it was all good. I don't know if you can get. I'm not a coffee drinker, but my wife didn't get coffee. We just hung out there for the morning. But it was funny because it wasn't until about a quarter of the way through that we're like, wait a second, we could just talk freely. Like if we want to say something, we could just treat this as like a movie at home on our TV in our family room. And so that's kind of what we did. So it was fun. It was actually kind of a nice little atmosphere for everything because normally we're like, okay, guys, quiet, quiet, quiet. Shuffling through all the snacks that we brought in our hoodies and our backpacks and purses and all that stuff. And so
Yeah.
it was fine though. It was a good time. But yeah, obviously there's no atmosphere for it, but our own family atmosphere, which was great. It was a good, comfortable viewing for us. But the thing that was just a little bit off-putting to me was, did you get emotional at any time? The reason why I asked this, I'm going to preface this because apparently there was my wife was seeing that people were leaving that movie and they experienced like this unexplained emotion or getting like vivid flashbacks to things. Like people were reporting stuff like that. So did you hear anything about that? And did you experience anything like that?
No, I just watched the movie and enjoyed it. Yeah, no. And I did not.
Okay.
I haven't been facing the scrolling lately. I've been busy, but like I did not see anything. The algorithm hath not blessed me with that knowledge as of yet.
Yeah, I did not experience it. Just for the record, I did not. My wife told me about it. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna like," cause we do research a little bit of stuff. Like, there's the Dr. Stephen Greer, who's one of these big authorities, or in quotes, authorities on UAPs and that type of phenomenon, and has had personal experience. But I'm very realistic. And so I'm just like, I think it's just a movie. I think these people saw the movie and they got emotional for whatever reason because Spielberg is a really good director. And the people in this movie are really good actors. I think that's really what it was. The only thing that I would say that I got emotional with is when Emily Blunt's character was like morphing into the relative or whoever it was and talking to these people. So I was just going to say, like, just that genuine connection and conversation, almost like I hate to demean this and devalue it by saying it this way, but almost very reminiscent of Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost, of how she's kind of relaying some of this
Yeah.
information to
But
the people, right?
I think that Emily Blunt like was in their mind where
Yeah.
Whoopi was just like playing the telephone game.
Yeah, for sure. But that my point being is like, that's the closest thing that I could kind of relate it to, right? Because obviously Demi Moore's character, she's like, "Oh, Sam would never say I love you." And then she says ditto. And then all of a sudden, like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." Just it's things that were said that were like, "Oh, that would be very interesting." And it's like, okay, so Emily Blunt's powers or talents, if you will, she just gets people and she could read their minds or know what they're thinking, and that's it. Like that's her power because she can understand everything in regarding communication because that's what the aliens gave to her,
So
right?
she's
That's
Jean Grey to Wyatt Russell's Wolverine is what you're saying.
I would say he's probably more of the Cyclops, if anything, because she goes to the scruffy looking, not very impressive guy. And that's kind of what Wolverine is, right? Like he's kind of just like
I was
a
just
furry
talking about
little
the jacket, bro. I was just about the jacket.
well.
You went way too deep.
I'm
Like
thinking the correct
apparently
way.
like these people that walked out of the movie way too deep. I
Yep.
thought you were about to tell me it was pissing off religious people and they were leaving for that. Like the Christian group was not okay with it.
Oh, I'm curious as to like what those people think. Like the ones that are like hardcore, like nope, Jesus Christ is my savior and no
They
one
wouldn't
else. So,
go to
like
this
I don't know.
movie. They're
Maybe
just not, or they'd protest it. But it's like this is not a movie for you. So
I
don't go to it.
guess. Yeah, maybe.
It's fun. Like all art is not for all people.
Was there anything in the plot of this movie that you couldn't follow? Because for me, the clarity behind I'm going to say crystal, but it's just like that like the
Yeah.
quartz type of thing that they're holding on to, right? So like you use the power and it just goes, like that's it? Like
I th-
or is it the extent of how you use it and that's why it disintegrates?
I think
Because that's
that
kind of bullshit, right?
well, I think that everybody else that used them, they didn't disintegrate. It was just her because she was doing fucking crazy shit with it. But everybody else, I think we're not even scratching the surface of its like Colin Firth was, did not
Yeah,
know
use
what
it
he was
multiple
doing.
times. So is that an effective use of those talents? Like, is it designed to be that way? That I wasn't. I'm not hung up on it. I'm just kind
Yeah.
of curious because that's like a weird. Like they had to nerf her essentially. Is that like Spielberg's way of just like, well, we got to nerf her somehow, otherwise she's just gonna start levitating. She will be Jean Grey or the Phoenix in The Last Stand, where she just like just obliterates everyone.
Based on the end of the movie, I saw those pieces as an incomplete tool. right? Because they were in that big circle of all of later on in the movie, and it was used for multiple things. So that just looked like they were using part of it as a rudimentary tool, which is why it was not like as effective or as impressive as what it was in the full circle of them that could do things. That's how I took it, right? They've got a piece of it, they don't have the whole thing, so they're using it as they can. Does that make sense?
Interesting. It does make sense. I just kind of wish there was a little bit more clarity there because I feel like as
Yeah.
a viewer, I was just like, really? Like, this is such an important piece of technology and like it just turns into dust after you use it. But
She
it
squeezed
is
it
what it
too
is.
hard. They told her not to squeeze it
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the use of the talents and the powers, if that's what you want to call them. What I wanted to ask you about was the violence against the aliens and the mistreatment of them. Did that affect you? Were you like offended, or were you kind of hurt, or were you empathetic with them? Like, how did you feel when you saw that on screen?
I wasn't affected from an emotional perspective. I think that I may have been sad that that is absolutely a plausible thing that could have happened, right? From the
Oh,
mistreatment
it did.
of yeah,
Area,
from the
Area
mistreatment
51
of the
happened.
body to the mistreatment of the taking advantage of the living beings to Nixon wanting to just show off for an actor, and it'd be so cool to show you this. Like that is very that hits close to home, especially now. Like if they were aliens, Trump would be showing them off at Mar-a-Lago.
Crucified right there, right? Or something to that effect. Just on display for everyone to see because everyone
Yeah.
should see this, and we've got it. But
It's the best, the most excellent aliens ever. Huge.
the the way that Spielberg shot that and how the aliens reacted was so expertly done. It really was because I felt for the little guy, like or the little guys, the multiple guys, like kind of throwing him on the gurney and like the one that's just kind of backed up against the car and surrounded. And it's like I don't know what the hell's going on here. And it's funny because if throughout my really half-assed I say research, but it's really just stuff that just I happen to stumble across. I was watching this one TV show called Resident Alien. Very good show, canceled, but hey, still a good show. And there is this for all the alien enthusiasts out there, I could be wrong in how I'm stating this, but the aliens that apparently do exist, there are the Greys, which are very, very similar looking to the aliens in what Steven Spielberg has in the movies. However, the Greys are always portrayed as the assholes. They're the bad ones. They're the ones that want to be destructive or destroy Earth or, something to that effect. So I was just interested because all right. Obviously, I'm guessing that Steven Spielberg also has some interest or maybe a lot more than an interest or like a hobby perhaps of looking into the alien phenomena or the UAPs at the very least. And just the choice of selecting what looks like to me to be one of the Greys as a peaceful being is interesting because even some of the others that are out there say that like, oh, those are the bad ones. You don't want to mess with those. There's other ones that are okay, but the Greys are not necessarily Earth's friends. So it's just kind of interesting to see. Like I'm sure I'm saying a bunch of stuff to you right now that you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but
Well, I just
apparently
wanted
that's
to
what it is.
I wanted to ask because the wasn't the Close Encounters alien gray as well?
I never saw that. So,
Okay.
but that's the interesting thing is like the Greys are always like now it's
Is
thought
ET the
of them being
tan?
the bad
Like,
ones.
what's
I
ET?
don't know. I don't know. Not a gray. But the grays are like exactly like what you like, like the little green aliens that you
Yeah.
see on like, just like that's kind of what the grays are, except they're gray. And they have the big eyes and the oblong type head type thing. And so yeah, that's kind of who the assholes of the galaxy are. Just what I've heard. Aliens, if you hear me, grays, if you're out there, I don't necessarily believe it. Just saying what I have heard and read.
So they're the baddies.
Supposedly. But
Good
anyways,
to
yeah,
know.
just an interesting thing that I thought of. But going into interesting things, what about the things that Martha you? Did anything Martha you in this movie?
The end.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The ending Martha'd me a little bit. It wasn't bad. It was just, it was very, it's like they ran out of film, even though it's filmed digitally.
That's so funny. I thought that's exactly how the ending was going to go. That's so
Really? Just
interesting.
abruptly done?
Yeah, 100%. I told my wife that, like, well, just so you know, I'm going to call my shot right now. The movie's going to probably end like this, where it wasn't quite what it was. I didn't guess the line of dialogue, but I was going to say it was going to end. Today is disclosure day. Cut to black. Bum 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 ba 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 ba. Like just the Curb Your Enthusiasm music comes on.
Yeah.
I thought that's exactly how it was gonna end. It's like, okay, nothing is gonna be solved. It's just gonna be that, like, hey, they're out there, and that's how it was. And like when it ended, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Exactly what I thought.
My only problem with the ending wasn't that they got the disclosure done and they ended it. If she wanted to be that good of a news anchor, shouldn't she have a good sign off that's not just listen? Is she like the fucking fairy from Zelda? Like, what's going on? Like, so
Um,
many other, like, I don't think anybody does it better than the X-Files with the line that they put out there. But like, you could have, it was ripe for an iconic line.
yeah,
And
but
listen,
then it makes it about her, not the overarching theme of like, yeah, we're not the only ones out there. I agree. I get what you're saying. I get it. From a practical point of view, yes, it is like she should have been like, and I'm Gail Hailstorm. It's like that.
no, not even that. Just like,
Hold your loved ones close,
well,
because
just
the world is so much bigger,
she could
or
have
the
just
universe
straight up Fox Muldered. The truth is out there.
could have. But
Like that would have fit the theme of Disclosure Day. Not just listen. Even the
yeah,
delivery of it was like that. That's the only part of the movie that brought me out. I was just like,
really.
that's
All
it.
right, I've got one that I don't know how this was not yours because
Oh, tell me.
it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So Keller goes back to what's his girlfriend's name in it? Like I can't remember the character's name or the one that was the nun. He goes back and this is when Colin Firth's character is kind of taking her over and she's like waiting to kill him and everything like that, right? He drives back, or no, I'm sorry, he's walking back because he made a phone call to Coleman Domingo and he sees all, whether it's whatever the
The private
FBI
security
agents.
buckos.
Yeah, exactly. Like
When he's
those
going
guys.
to get Jane. When he's going to get
Yeah,
Jane.
Jane. Okay, perfect. And he is less than maybe 30 feet from them. And he decides to sit down up against the fence, the wooden fence, where you can see right through.
There's a little brush.
And
there's a
little,
smidgen, a whisper
exactly.
of the bush there.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, dude, what the hell is this? And then I thought that was okay. This must be a mistake. They're not going to do this. They're not going to continue on with this. He runs up and down the fence line. My son, my oldest son, he's like, bro, what the? He didn't say anything. He swears. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, bro's out mid daylight, and I was just like, yeah. He must be in a Metal Gear movie because he's just like literally in broad daylight. As long as they're not looking in his direction, he's okay. He was on a stealth mission, Konami style, and it was ridiculous.
Konami.
It was so ridiculous. That is what Martha, and this is the only Martha in the I Can Do This All Day podcast history where I also thought it was equally funny. It was both infuriating.
It was pretty funny.
And funny.
The other part about that scene is what law enforcement private security guy is not just going to pop the guy, especially as he's driving away. There were ample opportunities for bullets to enter him repetitively. Now, later in the movie, maybe they allude to why, because Colin Firth had to go behind lock and key to get one clip of ammunition. Not Colin Firth, it was the other guy.
His lackey.
Yeah, his lackey. I don't know the actor. But the lackey had to go behind lock and key and like fucking fingerprint analysis to get a single Beretta and one clip. Only brought one clip.
Yeah, right?
Have you
I was
not
thinking the
seen
same
John
thing.
Wick? Just you're wearing a tactical shirt.
But he's not thinking he is going to get into a firefight at all. He was
Yeah.
planning on not using that gun because he
He
only
thinks he's
brought
a
one clip.
much better shot than he is.
Oh man,
He's
I
like,
thought the
I'm
same
good
thing.
at duck hunt. So yeah, they maybe they retconned it. They didn't have guns, but that was the part where I'm thinking, wait, there's 5 standing around you, and this is what you're gonna do.
It is,
I did like that
and
he
I
drove
might
through
be,
the sunroom of the house and stuff. Not that that car
yeah.
would stand up. I had a Charger. It's not. It ain't going. That's not
It
happening.
was an old. To be fair, that was an old house though.
Doesn't matter. Not happening. It's gonna go through the wood floors of the old house. So fucking heavy.
Yeah, probably. But yeah,
But
that's
either
that's
way,
the only thing that really Martha'd me. It was just like, yeah, that stealth bullshit not happening. I was not buying it, and it infuriated me and entertained me at the same time because it kept going. He ran at least 25 yards, ran behind an open fence, walked up right to a car when multiple people are just standing there, and no one's gonna be like, "Hey Johnson, do you hear that car door open?" Like, no one said anything. Like, it was the very last moment when he started the car. Like, someone must have. It was like the Konami Metal Gear alert, like exclamation point went off. It's like, oh, something's happening right now. I better
Right. There's
turn
no
on.
twigs. That's the quietest gravel ever. Like all of that. Yeah. Well, I mean, you could also look at later in the movie when they're just like there were a lot of instances. I had it and I lost it.
Yeah.
Sorry. But there were a lot of instances where it was just like, man, he's really good at this. But yeah, that let me. I ignored that. I guess in my viewing, I just kind of okay, whatever. Please,
You
please.
ignored the easiest time where they could have killed him, captured him, prevented him from doing anything.
They wooed
You
me
ignored that.
with the really understanding nun is what happened. Like that brought that up, and it was just like, oh, this is so good.
Gosh, fair enough.
Did Colin Firth in this give you Ready Player One vibes at all?
No,
Another
he
Spielberg
actually.
movie.
No, I would say that he gave, and this is a little bit of a pull, HRG from Heroes, the TV show, and he's the agent, and you think he's an asshole, and he kind of is, but there's also some things that he's like, he's all right. He's not 100% dick, but at the same time, there is a definite antagonist aura of him, and he's there because that's what he needs to be. He believes what he's doing is right. Just like anyone who's on any side of any argument, they always believe that they're right. Very rare are they going to put their feet in the sand and just be like, this is where I stand. Like, okay, not changing it. Not too many people flip-flop out there, right? Except for this podcast, because we are,
All
the hypocrisy is strong.
baby.
Hypocrisy is strong in this podcast. So, but no, I think with his talents is that he can be such an asshole, but at the same time, there's something endearing about him. Whether maybe it's just by memories of different roles he's had in the past. I liked him in Kingsman, and like his character is awesome. It's
Absolutely.
awesome, sweet. So that I think maybe I can't say that he can do no wrong, but he's a damn good actor for sure.
Kinda
He's not. He can. He's just not my. He's not my guy that it can do no wrong. He's the guy that I enjoy, but I don't know.
I think
I'm not going out to see a lot of his movies.
Yeah, but he's the one that I will say, I don't think Colin Firth has ever left me disappointed in the way he's approached a role. I think that most things that he's in, he shines above average. Like he is a wins above replacement kind of supporting actor. Like I don't think I've seen something and be like, Colin Firth could have done better. I
Okay.
legitimately
Yeah.
like and his roles are so varied from the Love Actually role to Kingsman to this. Like, who would have thought that you'd see Colin Firth as like a slick ass spy? But he did. He's pretty good at it.
Badass.
He doesn't need to be James Bond, but he's okay.
Arguably, he might have been better than James Bond the way he handled himself. So,
ooh, which James Bond?
All of them. Did you see that church scene in The Kingsman? He whooped everybody's ass.
If they would have let Sean Connery fight like that, he would have done it well.
Disagree. Daniel Craig would be way better for sure. I might even say Pierce Brosnan might be even way better. I don't know.
I think that we can both agree though that if we replaced the oh my god, who is the Octopussy Bond?
That
The
was
really
Roger Moore.
Yeah, I would replace all of the Roger Moore Bonds with Colin Firth from Kingsman Bond. It'd be awesome. I
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
replace George Lazenby. One and done and very good. And I agree. You know, Connery, Brosnan, all of them. Like they're great. Those are great. Daniel Craig, Hart. But Roger Moore, suck a dick, buddy. Let's get Colin Firth in there.
Speaking of sucking D's, when it comes to Disclosure Day, Mark, I got a question for you. Can you do this movie all day?
So there are many Spielberg movies that I can watch from any point and to the end. Most of those involve ridiculous science fiction premises, like or religious connotation, right? Like the Indiana Jones movies where they're fighting the Nazis and finding the religious artifacts, or Jurassic Park where you see dinosaurs, which is super sci-fi. But this movie that covers both of those topics is I cannot do this all day. And I'm going to tell you why. It's heavy, it's interesting, but it's not something that I'm going to come back to and bring me joy. It's not the best of John Williams. It's a very emotional story that isn't like a joyous or goofy emotional story. It's super serial, you guys. And though it didn't affect me in a negatively emotional way, it's still a little heavy. It's not heavy walk out or heavy be offended, but you know, it paints the human race as a mean aggressor, and I think it gets that right, which is why it's powerful. But it's not I can do this all day. It's good. I would recommend it, but I would not watch it constantly. But that's just me. And based on your shocked look, you may have a different answer. But remember, the hypocrisy is strong with this podcast. So when it comes to Disclosure Day, Danny, can you do this all day?
There was some really great things about this movie. Wyatt Russell, fantastic. Emily Blunt can do no wrong, and I thought she performed very well. Her emotion carried and was definitely played in this movie. And just the rest of the cast, really expertly done. I think I just really enjoy their overall charisma on screen, but also the way that they gel together, but also repel each other at the same time. You know, if that makes sense. There is something really interesting in being able to watch a movie to where you think that between the male character and the female lead characters, there's going to be some type of moments of romance or anything like that. But it's not romance based, it's experience based. And I think that says something for everyday life, is that people bond together through experiences. And in some cases, that bond is just way more than even a romantic bond can be. And so when you take a look at just the overall chemistry, I guess is the best word that I can probably say, the chemistry between Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt, even though they're two complete opposite people, it still goes together, but they have different thought process and beliefs, right? So I like that. I like the honesty and being able to accept, like, once Emily Blunt becomes kind of aware of her powers and she starts to use them, if you will. And, you know, her and Wyatt Russell, she's like, yeah, I love you, but you know, this isn't us. Like, we're not going to be last together. So go ahead and do your thing. I was like,
Yeah.
that takes a lot of honesty. And I honestly, that should happen a whole lot more for those young people out there dating. Just realize you're not good together. Enjoy the good times and go on to meet your soulmate if you believe in that type of thing. But
I don't think that Josh Connor was her soulmate. They were like the keymaster and the gatekeeper.
They were bonded by experience. They were Keanu and Sandra Bullock in Speed. That's exactly what they were from that early on experience where they had. But the overall movie, so music, John Williams, I love the fact that he was tied to this, but it did not play a factor. The scenes were well, the music in those scenes were well, but I kind of missed that theme, and that's just kind of what my expectation was. The balancing of religion and aliens and spirituality and faith and all that stuff, great. Really, really done well. The Metal Gear stealth mission in broad daylight behind a open wood fence, not my jam. So there's some things that kind of, you know, obviously it Martha me, but can I do this movie all day? I'm going to give it a yes, I can do this all day. because I think everyone should see this movie just to be able to see other points of view of the galaxy, of the universe, of religion, of faith, of even human interaction, from government perspectives, from private sector, all that stuff. I think it's just very fascinating if they decide to choose to view it that way. If you are trying to view this from a down with aliens type of attitude or down with humans type of attitude, I don't know. I
Down
don't
with
know if you'll get
alien.
I don't know if you'll get the full appreciation of it. So there's some disclaimers in there, but for sure, I can do this all day. Definitely recommend it to it, and I think everyone should see it just to expand their horizons. I'm not gonna force this down anyone's throat, but at the same time, Steven Spielberg, man, the guy cannot miss. Even his miss, that's debatable.
We'll see. He'll get an Oscar nod for this.
Maybe,
Like
maybe not.
this is gonna be a darling. This is gonna be something that is that is like there's no way that Emily Blunt doesn't get a nod for this for lead actress. What else has there been this year?
I don't know. They're probably gonna come out with some foreign movies that everything's gonna be going to foreign movies.
Yeah, there's
'Cause
gonna be the third Dune movie. There's gonna be what is Joan Cusack gonna get an Oscar? That's animated, so she won't. Well, no. Tom Hanks brought this up on an interview that Best Actor could be an actor in an animated film. It's not limited to just animated categories. So Joan Cusack could get nominated, but she won't because she's Joan Cusack.
not enough
I
scratch in that.
what?
Not enough scratch for that
Yeah.
to make that happen.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a Spielberg movie, so it's gonna get the Oscar buzz, and I think it's done well enough to where it'll be okay. It
Yeah.
opened at half its budget, but it'll worldwide it's already hit above budget, so it'll continue to be out. It'll be
I
the movie parent people go to instead of Toy Story, and
We shall see. Toy Story coming up hot soon, so we'll be reviewing that for the podcast. But until next time, that wraps it up for another episode of the I Can Do This All Day podcast. I am Dan the Part-Time Avenger. That's Mark the Resident Jedi.
don't forget, y'all, like, subscribe. Let us know what you thought of this movie and what you think about aliens. Are they real? Are they fake? Should we know that they're real and that we have them? Should we tell everybody? Do you believe in disclosure? Let us know at I Can Do This All Day podcast on all of the socials. We love your comments, and Danny loves writing back to the haters. Yeah, but like, subscribe, and let us know. We'll talk more about random alien things, I'm sure, in another podcast because we watch sci-fi.
Most importantly, listen.